Hello, everyone. I hope I'm clearly audible. थोड़ा देर बेसिक बैकग्राउंड म्यूजिक चला देते हैं. I think I like this music a lot. Yes, good evening, everyone. कैसे हो भैया? I can see a lot of people who are already regular on my channel. A very interesting video today. Not usually the type that we take up, but I think you will learn a lot of things, and it's very interesting actually. Okay, so let's start digging. We are gonna talk about systems coding, right? System coding round. Have you ever faced one? Okay, let me share my screen and we'll get started, right? Okay, so we are in the realm of system coding rounds, which is specifically related to a little bit of multi-threading, a little bit of OS and stuff, right? So this is a topic that I feel most people don't prepare for, right? And I'll just maybe I'll maybe talk about how exactly does these things kind of go, because most of people think that okay, you are doing DSA and dev, right? But as soon as you like kind of go beyond the fresher role, you start getting some more types of question, and slowly what is happening is the difference between the fresher and the SD2, like SDE1 and SDE2, is slowly blurring out, right? This line is slowly blurring out. I mean, we can still say that they are the same, they are not really same, and they have different requirement per se. But what happens is most of the SD2s are taking interviews of SD1, okay? And what they are preparing for their SD switch, they are asking them in the interviews, okay? You guys saying free binary search, it's still free, use it right now, okay? So what is happening is if you are like sitting for even SD1 of good companies, right? Most of the SD2s, SD3s, when they are taking interviews, they are going into the realms of things that ideally were made for SD2 and SD3. Okay. Vivek, why is this line blurring? Simply because of overflow of talent, right? Even if some SDE1 opening opens, think about tomorrow Rubrik opens SDE1 opening, or Uber opens a SDE1 opening. Do you think that there will be 3-4 years experience people also applying to this? Yes or no? What do you think? Do you think 3 to 4 years people will also be applying to this? Of course, right? Even if there is an S, no. No, you guys think no? The reality is yes. Okay. If SD1 of Uber opens tomorrow, there will be people with 3 to 4 years of experience also applying for this. Okay. And it happens. Right now, the market is in such a way that kahin bhi job mil jaye, right? And everybody wants to go higher up in the companies, right? So essentially, SD1 and SD2 roles, like this 0 to 3 years experience line is kind of blurring out. You have to be performant equivalent to anybody in this region. Okay. I think 3 years plus, it's still a different bracket till 5 to 6 years, and 6 years plus is a different bracket, right? Now, what has happened is this is what we call as SD1, this is what we call as SD2, and this is what we call as SD3. Okay, 3 to 5, 0 to 3, 3 to 5, 6, and 6 plus, right? This is what generally the realms of SDs look like. Okay, if you haven't really seen the market yet. So now most of people used to think that I am competing for zero. There used to be a zero over here, which was just DSA and dev. But now this is no longer existent. It's this role that you are fighting for. Okay. So now when you go to this higher up, you start getting questions around LLD. you start getting question around HLD, you start getting question around concurrency and multi-threading, right? You start getting question around core systems, right? Core systems related questions, like how do you build high performance systems, right? These things are often asked, and we are going to specifically explore this plus this, okay? This role plus this role, because I think you will, if you search, you will find some videos on LLD, you will find some videos on HLD, but very few people actually prepare for them. And if I think about the highest paying companies like HFTs, like Uber, Rubrik, these kind of companies, they have their machine coding round in a way that they try to include systems coding, concurrency in that part, right? And if you are not prepared for them, I don't believe you can answer these questions in interviews, right? So these are things that you'll have to prepare. And the higher up in the pay, if you go, like if you're preparing for say Google, Microsoft, then maybe you might not need, but the higher you go in the zero level experience, Rubrik, Uber, HFTs, Glen, all these kind of rounds are there. They have different exam. I'll go through questions only. We'll solve 2 questions today in class. Okay. As you go higher up in the pay, you start getting questions around these things. Or if you are able to explain these, you will be taken as a much better engineer. You will be thought to be a better engineer. Okay. So now let's try to give an example. Vivek, give me an example. What are we talking about, right? So this is like, I just tried. I thought I'll pick up questions directly, but instead I thought let's show you, right? So this is a rubric interview for someone who has 1.5 to 2 years experience. Obviously, they are experienced, but that is not really the criteria. It's actually for SD position they had opened some time back, right? And in then they have their basic problem statement and all that they had asked in the last round. And round 2 is generally related to multi-threaded, right? Multi-threading. I don't know if you have applied to JustPay. JustPay also happens to ask a multi-threading related questions in their interviews, right? The third round was proper DSA question, right? And the fourth round was a system design question. So we can say this was a little bit around like SD2 level interview. But again, these things are appearing in even SD1 level interviews in many companies. Okay. So you have to prepare them, or at least know the foundations of how to approach them. Okay. So like this is the question that we are taking up, and there is a like a little bit of vague statement over here, that voting, there are some Democrats and Republicans, single bathroom can accommodate this. So I have rephrased this question and I have added it in the slide. So the question says this. Okay, try to read the problem. Okay, let's try to read the problem. Is this also applied to ML roles? ML ka different domain hai yaar. It's a very different domain. It's not software engineering roles per se, but ML ki hiring ho kahan rahi hai? How many people are getting selected in ML? I'm not that. I don't really encourage someone who hasn't started ML to think like कि मुझे ML में job मिल जाएगा 1 महीने पढ़ के, because इतनी jobs नहीं है ML में जितना तुम सोच रहे हो. If you're really good, then definitely pursue. I'm not saying you should not, but it's not possible so easily, I feel. Okay, so let's read the problem, and I think maybe I'll zoom in a little bit. That will help us. Okay, so this is the question. I've just rephrased it. Okay, try to read the problem. Don't let's not discuss too much today. Like, I want to actually teach you good concept today first, and then maybe we can discuss about the questions that you guys are asking me about trends and all and so on. Okay. So the first problem, which was the rubric question, which has appeared in other companies also, is this: that you have one bathroom. Like, this is, I think, good to know kind of thing for freshers and must know things for senior engineers, right? Like, I mean, if you're applying for mid-level like SD to SD3, then these kind of questions are asked right off the bat. And then if you are fresher, then also some good companies ask these kind of questions: that how would you design such a problem? Okay. So the question says, one bathroom, there is a capacity of 3 people, 2 parties, there are Democrat and Republicans, and each person takes some random name, depending on their name, how much time they will take to use the bathroom, right? And people arrive over time and wait in a queue. The rule is, in the bathroom at any point in time, two different parties people should not be there, which means at most three people can be there. It can be empty, it can be one Democrat, two Democrat, three Democrat, one Republican, two Republican, three Republican, but it cannot be like two Democrats and one Republican is together using the bathroom. Do you get it? Because then party ke dange ho jayenge, right? That's the idea, right? So you are not allowed to mix the bathroom in such a way that both are getting used. Okay, there is no like I had discussed this. I discussed this. Okay, only BJP or Congress. Okay, I should have replaced this with BJP and Congress, but yeah, yeah, maybe. Okay, is the question clear to everyone? Is the question clear? Can I get some quick plus ones in the chat if you're understanding what do we need to design? Like, design a system that can handle this. I need some plus ones if you're able to understand the question. Okay, it's a very interesting question, right? That how would you design a system that like handles this? Okay, throw me some suggestions. So the task is, you have to design some queuing strategy. That how will you queue them, how will you like make them use the bathroom and all. You have to design that strategy yourself. Also, there are some, like, what, like, this is not mentioned in the problem, but you have to understand that you have to minimize the average waiting time, right? Even in operating systems, when you understand that tasks come, the thing that you want to optimize is minimum average waiting time, right? This is something that turnaround time or waiting time is something you want to minimize. And you also want to avoid starvation. This is the first thing you should realize when you see this problem. Like, if you just immediately say that, okay, if Democrat is using it, let the Democrats using it. When it becomes empty, then the next we will give it to Republican. So it might so be that Democrats keep coming one by one. So will you make it absolutely uh, random? You cannot, because then what happens is there can be starvation. There can be starvation that Republicans are not even getting the bathroom, right? Okay, so this is something that you have to design. And when the stall is free, the most eligible, how do you decide who is the most eligible person? So the design problems like this, system design questions, are these are systems coding round. Okay, so systems that you have to design will have to handle these cases. That how do you decide who is the most eligible person without violating the rule? How to decide the strategy such that the minimum average waiting time is less, and you want to avoid starvation. Just like in operating systems, you don't want to let things, one resource get completely taken by one request and other requests are waiting indefinitely. Are you getting the vibe of operating systems over here? Ankit, so yes, that's enough. Okay, whatever we are discussing in the placement series can come. Do you guys get the do you guys understand what we are trying to do over here? One is, we have to understand who is the next person. This is almost like a scheduling algorithm, correct? If you recognize this problem, it's like you are asked to design a scheduling algorithm, that who will be scheduled next to the bathroom, and we want to minimize the average waiting time, we want to avoid starvation, and we have to use it in the best way possible. Okay, is the question clear? Now, there can be many strategies, of course, for this. What would you suggest? What can we use in this? Try to think, what strategy will you let the people follow such that it works, right? It's like designing a scheduling algorithm, but how would you divide it? Like, see, this is not related to threading. Somebody was saying that this is threading and locks and all. It's not related to threading and lock. That is different. That is the when we are making a person go into bathroom, we will lock the bathroom resource and stuff. That is coding related stuff. That is the separate thing. First, we have to understand that how do you even handle this? How do you design the algorithm such that it works? how do you design the operating system scheduling algorithm, and then we can go into thinking ki acha, how will you implement it such that if there are threads that are bringing these persons, it is thread safe and all. Thread safe is a very different problem. It's only problem when there are multiple threads bringing the different people and you have to handle multiple threads together. That's a very different scenario. This is not multi-threading question, to be precise. This is systems coding. Okay. So one is round robin. I think you guys have heard about operating system scheduling algorithms like shortest job first, round robin. Have you guys heard about these terms? There are different algorithms that you might have read, right? So we have to first come, first serve. Acha, which is the algorithm that optimizes the average waiting time? Do you know which algorithm is actually the most optimal algorithm out of all scheduling algorithms? Which is the most optimal, which optimizes the minimum average waiting time to the best possible value? Depends on the use case. No. If you know every, like this is a standard DSA problem, in fact, that if you, for every job that is coming, if you know its starting time and if you know its duration for a fixed value, you can solve it perfectly using, like, the minimum waiting time will be taken by which algorithm? Shortest job first. Even if you want, you can do preemptive scheduling. Like if a job is running and a shorter job came, then you will remove it and you will make the other one preemptive eviction. Shortest job first is the optimal algorithm. If you know for all the jobs their starting times and their duration, you can sort it by the shortest job first and just schedule them, and it will always work. Shortest job first or shortest remaining job first, right? Shortest remaining job first, maybe you can say that. Okay, this is the most optimal algorithm. Then Vivek, why don't we use this in operating systems? Why don't we always use them? Because we don't know the starting times of all the jobs. We don't know that when a job is going to come, right? When your operating system is doing, you don't know when the user will click on some program or not, right? It's not as easy as it seems. The second thing is, no, you also don't know what will be the duration of the program running. Like when you open a job in operating systems, you don't know the duration of that program. You The burst time, or let's forget about high level words. The time a job will take, the time a person will take in the job will, or the job in OS will take, is dependent on the work itself. So you don't know that. That is why we cannot use the most optimal algorithm, and we go into other things which don't remove, which removes some starvation and stuff. Okay, that is why we don't use this. But actually, if you know all the jobs and all, तो ये optimal होता है. This is always optimal. Shortest remaining job first. Okay. Now, is this problem a little bit similar? We don't know the starting time, but we know the duration for sure. Is this the case? In this problem, you are given that a person will use the computer or the CPU for f seconds. You have a function of name which will give you the time it will take to run. Do you understand that there is a multi-core chip where there are like 3 cores and there are different jobs coming and you have to schedule them? It's almost like the same problem with some restrictions. We can assume that, let's say we know the arrival times. Can you find, like, even if you don't know, we don't know the arrival times, but we at least know the duration at the time they come. So even if you know the durations, you can do the shortest remaining job first algorithm with preemptive scheduling if you want. Okay, but in this case we cannot do preemptive eviction. So even if you don't do preemptive eviction, it's still good to use this algorithm. because we know it's a fixed duration job. Because as soon as the person comes, we get their name, so we can use this function to get the time it will take, say 10 to 70 seconds, whatever time they want to spend in the bathroom, we will get that number. वही ना? यस, ठीक है, तो प्रीएम्प्टिव तो नहीं कर सकते, बाथरूम से करते करते निकाल नहीं सकते, ठीक है. अब we have to figure out how do we even distribute them. So whenever you are asked to minimize or optimize, the shortest job is generally the way to go, shortest job first. But there are another term, which is how do you decide who is the most eligible? Because if you keep giving it to the same person, same type of Democrat or Republican, so BJP Congress use karte hain, if you keep giving it to BJP, then Congress might never get time. Or if you keep giving the bathroom to Congress people, BJP will not never get time, right? So this is something that is a problem. इसको कैसे हैंडल करते हैं? Any ideas now? Throw me some ideas. How can you possibly do this? For this part, round robin, maybe that's a good idea. But let me tell you what, this is actually a very standard problem. Vivek, standard problem? We have never studied these kind of things only. Okay, it looks like it's complicated problem, but it's a very well-known problem. Okay, round robin is a very good solution, but you need to know what is the best strategy that you can use for such kind of problem, right? And Vivek, how to study these things? Probably you can study more about scheduling algorithms. How many of you feel that you are weak in concurrency, multi-threading, these kind of systems coding? Quick raise, +1. If you feel that, Vivek, I am weak at I know C++, but I'm weak at threading, concurrency codes, I'm weak at systems coding, these kind of problems. Right? So Vivek, what can I do for this? Okay. So this is actually a standard problem. Single resource, two incompatible classes, capacity to scheduling problem. Okay. This is actually a known problem. You can design many algorithms. Okay. But if you know these things, it is just a matter of time, and you can just quickly just tell the idea in the interview and you'll get selected. Okay. Vivek, how can I be good at the concurrency and stuff? There are two books that are like generally the golden standard for concurrency things in C++. Even if you're preparing for HFTs, if you're preparing for like low LLD rounds of many companies, if you're preparing for concurrency rounds, C++ mandatory nahi, it's not mandatory in C++, but I'm saying that if you feel like you are bad at your concurrency part of the codes, these are the two books. Okay. Yeah, Galvin, OS, I'm not teaching about OS. This is the next level after you have studied OS. And you can study with AI also. That's perfectly fine. Okay. So we need to, so now try to hear the solution very well. Okay. This is the idea of the algorithm that I was talking about. Minimize the average waiting time, capacity less than equal to 3, no mixing, and we have the time given. So the strategy uses alternated gated batches with shortest processing time. For every node, we know its processing time. What we will do is we will do gated batches. Okay. So think of this idea, gating is very common, and this is something that the interviewer is expecting you to tell in the interview. Okay. And now once you watch this video, you know it. You will be able to crack this interview every number of time. But this gating idea is very interesting, and it's often used in a lot of systems coding questions. That think of bathroom as a switching mode, right? There is a D mode or R mode. Right now, Democrats are using it, or Republicans are using it. Republicans, yeah. Okay. So when you are in the bathroom, can have none D or mode. Is the mode of bathroom clear to everyone that this is a data structure we will have to maintain? Correct. inside is like an integer which will contain the number inside 0 to 3, like how many are currently inside. None 0, D1, D2, R3, something like this. Obviously this is how you maintain the bathroom, right? Like who is inside and how many of that type. And there are two priority queues that you maintain. One is Min-Heap, because we want to find the shortest job first, so we will keep a Min-Heap of the name. The function of name will give us how much time it will take, and arrival ID, like that will give us the person's details if you want to insert it into the bathroom, right? This is the Democrats minimum Min-Heap and a Republicans Min-Heap. Are the three data structures clear to, like four actually, but are the two states and two data structure clear to everyone? What are we trying to keep? No, the best idea is still to come. It's still yet to come, don't worry. Mode, how many are inside? This is the state of bathroom, and these are the two data structure which we will maintain to get the shortest processing time first of each type. But this still doesn't solve the like starvation problem or who will go first kind of problem. But is this state and data structure clear to everyone? I need +1 in the chat first from all of you. If this is clear, then only we can move forward. That for the bathroom, we are maintaining how much? A sorted queue of currently available Democrats and currently available Republicans. Okay. The data structure is clear to everyone first. Okay. Let's say this is now clear to all. Vivek, how do we actually make the solution? Like, this is not the most interesting idea. I think this you can come up yourself also. With full stack development? Full stack development is not needed. वो तो हर कोई कर लेता है, AI भी कर लेता है. Next thing. The main thing that is there is gate trick. This is the main thing that you are supposed to know in this. Okay. For fairness, you maintain two things. Track the oldest waiting Democrat, like who has been the waiting the longest time for till now. Oldest waiting Republican, the earliest arrival time currently, right? Who was the first person who came but is still waiting, right? This is the first thing that we will also maintain to help us with the what do you call starvation. And the second thing is a gate. Okay, so suppose you currently have empty bathroom. Okay, so a gate snapshot for active batch, when we switch into a party, we freeze the set of parties jobs that are eligible for this batch. Okay, late arrival queues for the next batch. So what we are doing is, suppose there is a priority queue of the Democrats and priority queue of the Republicans, right? And there is a bathroom. So who, like right now, whatever is happening in the bathroom, it's going on. There are some people like 3 unit of time, 5 unit of time. I'll just actually delete this and write numbers. 2 unit of time, 5 unit of time, right? Something like this. And bathroom is right now empty. Okay. Now, when we now decide that we want to let these people go into the bathroom, we will say close the snapshot. Now whoever comes will not change the current status of the priority queues. They will be in a next priority queue kind of system. That this will be taken in the next batch. First, whoever have appeared till now, we will schedule them, make them use the bathroom, and then only we will go to the next set of people who are coming. So we are creating a gate which will close after some time, such that whoever are now in the queue will be able to use the resource. Once this is done, then we will open the gate and again let the things come into the queue. Then we will close the gate and we will schedule the next set of items. This is called gating strategy. Did you get the idea? Because suppose if you let 3 go, let's say 2 goes in because it is the shortest job. Okay. Then since you are already giving to Democrat, you gave it to 5. But if suppose more and more two people of Democrats keep coming, and five people of Republicans keep coming. Yeah, you can keep this as Q only. So you do not want to let this two also, like if this two will complete, you will keep letting go these twos inside, and the priority queue of Republicans will almost get starved. Correct? Yes or no? Does this make sense to everyone? So if you, as soon as you start scheduling, you will not allow anybody else to come into your scheduling technique anymore. So it's like a static array now for you to schedule, and the rest are in the queue. Now this static array, we will figure out the best way to schedule them ourselves. We will complete this, and then only we will take the next batch. This is called gated batching idea. This is a very, very interesting idea that you should understand about. Gated batching is a very common concept that is used when you have multiple two party systems, right? Generally, and there is a possibility of starvation. Okay. So what we are doing is we are saying, as soon as we start scheduling, we will gate it. We will say rest. Ab jo naya aega, whatever new comes, they will keep be in the queue. Schedule whatever is present right now using the two priority queues, and then once they are done, we will take the new lot inside into the bathroom. So think of this like a bigger box that you create outside the bathroom. Does this idea make sense? This is a very interesting idea, and you should know about this. This is what is expected. Matlab, if you say this, you will get a shortlist. If you don't say this, then like you might need to discuss and average it out. Okay, this is the, like ye bol diya to you will get strong hire in an interview. Okay, now there is question, how to decide. No, how much batching we don't decide. Whenever bathroom is empty, when we start scheduling, we will gate it. We will not, whatever has come into the priority queue till now, we will keep that, and we will add a gate. Okay, whatever has till now come into priority queue, we will add a gate so that the rest of the things comes inside a queue, and then we will schedule only the things that are in the priority queue. Does this make sense to everyone? No, this is a pattern. This is something you have to know, that multi-party starvation, this is a very common problem, that multiple parties are coming, and one party can, like multiple different types of jobs are coming, and one type of job can starve the other. For all such problems, the technique used is gated batching. So you need to know this approach, and that this is why systems coding is hard. How can this guarantee optimality? See, guarantees never, because anything can come dynamically. But you can read more about it. I don't have any optimality proof of this, but this is what is used. I know for that as a fact. Okay. Book. I think there are some books on scheduling algorithms, but I don't think you will be able to read books at this point. Just know this technique. My understanding is शेड्यूलिंग एल्गोरिथम्स का यही क्वेश्चन आता है, मतलब इट्स फिक्स्ड. लाइक फॉर एन एग्जांपल, there are only few problems that you will find, like one is reader writer problems, right? Then this multi party resource demand problem, when only one type can take it with a certain capacity. This is the highest version that you can see in this. इसके बाहर प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं आएगा. Okay, no, we have to code also, but not fully. Okay, so this is what is called gated snapshotting, and the other idea is oldest wait. We will also maintain the oldest wait. So what is the rule then? Suppose initially the mode is none and there are 0 people inside, and we have 2 priority queues, right? Okay, so what we will do is, for each party, calculate if 3 people go inside the bathroom, who will take the lower time. Yeah, producer I mean, they are all like almost of similar idea, right? Producer consumer. Yeah, producer consumer, reader writer, printer spooler, all these problems that are there in OS, right? And there is this one problem that you have to know. This is, if you know this one problem that I'm teaching right now, you will be able to actually solve most variants of this, because most variants are of this same nature only. You just need to tell this gated batching idea in the interview and you will get a shortlist okay, to the next round for sure. This is what is expected and it's not easy, I feel. So what will be the strategy? When you have the initial like set of people, from the two priority queues we can see the, no, we are not sending in, we cannot mix, right? So we will figure out, if we send 3 people, whenever we dispatch, whenever we like, I'll show you in the code also. Whenever we start dispatching, we will close the gate and we will complete whatever is currently there, and then open the gate and let the priority queues again refill, again then dispatch again. Okay, what we will do is, we will keep a priority queue like this, and there is a bathroom, we will, and there is a waiting queue, right? So suppose 2 comes, 3 comes, 5 comes, 7 comes, and this is the state right now. So now when we want the scheduler to work, we will gate it. So even if a 2 Democrat comes, 5 Republican comes, they will keep in the queue. And the scheduler will schedule these first in the bathroom. Once they are done, then we will again open the gate, let the things that are over here, like 2 Democrats, so it will go here, 5 Republicans, so it will go over here. And then once we have loaded all the queue, we will again close the gate and schedule these. Do you get it? What is the idea? That even if there are things coming in, they will not make the current scheduling people go and starve. This will never happen, because once these all complete, this will also complete, and then only we will load from the queue. So this batch will complete first, and then only the next batch will come. So this batch items can never starve. Got it? Clear, everyone? Yeah, this will not come and change the priority over here as such. Not a fixed size priority queue. Priority queue कब से fixed size होने लगा? Where have you seen a fixed size priority queue? We'll keep popping elements from the top of priority queue. Okay. So what we will do is, we will find the top 3 people who we can send from Democrats and Republicans. If so, how do you choose whether Democrats will go or Republicans will go? Whoever has the largest waiting person will probably go. You can use, like, this is not fixed. You can suggest anything in the interview. Whoever has been waiting for the most time, they can go next. If they are same, then whoever's first 3 smallest people takes the lowest time, then they can go. And then maybe, like, if still that is also same, then last, if first Democrat went, then this time first Republicans will go. This kind of strategy can be employed. Like, we are no longer in the realms of absolute optimal. This is something that we can solve. Okay, like, this just does the trick. That's it. This will just ensure that we are not starving. We are trying to put as much optimal as possible, and everything that is there. Okay, and then open a gate for that party. Like, whenever you are allowing, so this gate means the bathroom gate, you will allow that particular party. Okay, just make 2 bathrooms. Yeah, that is also true. Okay, what if you are already in the D mode? Like, as long as it's less than 3 in the same snapshot, you can keep taking people from the shortest F person. And you can maybe, like, stop people going inside when something like this happens. Like, let's say the time of the oldest weight of the other person has become too large. Okay, this is another thing that you can implement. So you can do like one gating over here, one gating over here. Even if you don't do this gating, I think just doing a simple gating here also works, right? That you will open it only for this and let it keep filling until this one becomes too long wait, and then you will close it, and then you will let this one to start going into bathroom. Okay, that's also another strategy. Okay, this is what we discussed over here was snapshotting. You created a snapshot of whatever has appeared, you will schedule them, and then you will let the rest. Another is gating, which is you will open the gate only for this, you will let them fill until the wait for the other time becomes very, very large. Okay, we can alternately use, but it might be that the other person is taking too much time and there is a smaller person waiting of the same type, because there is a capacity of 3, right? What, after you have 3 persons using it, when one person comes out, do you send another person of the same type or not? How do you decide that? Okay, why does this work? Which is highest work time, yeah. Shortest job first, I think, will always, we can make them wait, right? We cannot, but we cannot pick optimally. We can, if you keep giving s, then it will not work. This gating strategy needs to be implemented. Okay, so this is the idea. Did you understand the idea? Quick +1 if this is making sense to you. Is this making sense? Yes or no? Interesting problem, right? These are the types of problems you are expected to solve, which is very hard, because if you haven't seen this before, I don't think even I would have been able to solve this problem in an interview. No, I mean, it's extremely hard to come up with this logic on your own unless you have seen it, right? Uh, like, maybe I'll share the slide with you all. I can share the code now only, probably, with you all, and we can open it also to discuss a little bit. From name to getting the time, a random thing. A person has ID, party, name, arrival time, and how much service time it will take. Okay. So initially, whatever are coming, we are sorting them by their arrival time, right? And then queues of people who are not yet gated. Okay. These are the inside persons. And there is a vector which is uh, outside the gate, right? These are people outside. So what is the current mode, last mode, how many people are inside, capacity maximum is 3. Then if you want to find by ID, this is just a map that you create. Um, like this is the min heap of departures essentially, right? Okay, so these are lambda functions. I'll like explain them when we go there. Vivek, do we need to really write these kind of codes? Okay, chalo, I'll explain this. Obviously, I've made this with tuning and making GPT write the codes and all. I've not written the full code myself. It's impossible to write it the full code in interview, but I have provided it so that you can read and understand, right? Okay. Not really. There is no this. Okay. So Okay, so the way they have implemented the gate is a little different. When there are like two different queues of Democrats and Republicans, they have put a gate here and they will choose who will take, Democrats or Republicans. If Democrats will take, then they will take the people from Democrats into the queue next to use the bathroom and make the queue clear. So they have used gate like this. We can also use gate like this. Okay, both logics are correct. No, because we are using gating, right? Because once mode is D, we will, whoever are waiting in D will move into gate and clear. So rest who are coming will never come inside gate. And whoever are inside the gate, we will sort them by their service ID. Like this is the sorting condition. And then we will finally schedule them, fill the stalls. Once we sort them, we will then schedule them. Fill stalls is basically if it's not n and capacity is less than this and this, then only the person can keep going inside. You can keep pushing them inside the things, and this is just printing statement. Okay, this is what essentially goes on when you're queuing it. Okay, so the strategy that they are using in implementation, it's a little different. Instead of keeping a common weight and gated two different versions, what the code is doing is a little different. It's similar idea. This gating idea is very similar, that you have two different queues here on the weight, and when you decide to load, you will decide which one to load. You will load it fully here and you will gate again. So next things can't enter directly. So next things will keep queuing again, and these will complete. And then next time, since R will have been waiting for so long, so it will go into the next gate. That is how we are implementing this. So this is just how you can implement this. Of course, you don't need to write this much of clean code and you can do these things. Is there any online just to judge? Not really, but I can code, but maybe we can create these problems over time. Okay, I'll create it in AZ over time. Okay. Which is better? Both are fine. Both are fine. You can use both. You can use both the strategies, because what happens over here is when you make the D's and R goes, then you gate. So you are basically choosing one D set, one lot of D's, one lot of R's, and then you are scheduling again. That will also not starve. Okay. इस इन problems का अच्छा collection है कहीं? Not really. Probably on my streams. Next time also we'll take very interesting problems like this. All good problems I'll try to select and pick in this placement series, right? This should be helpful for ambitious freshers, SD2s, SD3s, all alike, I feel. Okay. This style makes sure that you complete one set of S and one set of R's. Then only you will alternate. So this is force alternating, which will clear the starvation problem in itself. This is also fine, but here you have to make sure that you are using that other strategy, that if R has been waiting too long, then you have to next time gate this and move this here. Something like that. Okay. But both solutions are fine. There is no correct, understand that there is no correct solution. It's all strategy, whatever you can build. Do we not care about starvation within a particular party? Uh, yeah, we have that. We have that if the wait time has become too long. We discussed that, right? Let me see. Yeah, the oldest arrival and oldest waiting time. Then which type will you take? Okay. And when you take that type, whoever has come in that type will all get scheduled. So it will complete and then only the next batches will get covered, right? Whoever has the oldest arrival, that particular type will get chosen. But once that type is chosen, they will load into gate, and even the oldest job which has been starving will get completed, and then only the new jobs will get loaded in the new queue. So it will not starve. That is the gating strategy. No, because of gating, it will never starve. Because whatever is present till now, they will get completed and then only new things will come. No. It will not. If a high priority, if a smaller time Republicans are coming, as soon as you gate, the new smaller one will come outside and this higher one will get completed. And then only the gating next twos will come in. No, it will not starve because we are choosing, So see, if there are a bunch of things coming, gating both and choosing which one to gate, first gate this and then gate this, they are the same thing, no? I mean, little bit same thing. What the first strategy is doing is it is gating both and then making the others wait together. The strategy that is there in the code, it says that choose which one to gate it, and then this one's just schedule. Next time choose again which one to gate. Both are correct. Correctness wise, both are correct. But I think this code will be a little easier to code, and both are fine actually. Clear, everyone? Does this make sense as a strategy? All D's or all R's, and then we again choose which one to choose. Correct. इससे एक और फायदा होगा. Yes, correct, Jasmus, you are correct that when we are getting only one, the other one might sort and give us some better optimal solution. So it is a little better. This is a little better. Okay. But in an interview, तुमने gating बता दिया तो you are selected. You don't need to worry about that. Okay. Clear? Shall we move to the next problem? Very interesting problem, right? I mean, if you don't prepare these kind of problems, then I don't think you will be able to solve these in an interview. Okay. I'll share the slides of the today's session in the Telegram group. Okay. So if you haven't joined the Telegram group, it's there in the chats, right? And you can join it from there. I'll send the slides across in the Telegram group. Okay. Problem 2. This is actually this is actually Uber's coding round, which is this famous question. You have to implement Java's scheduled executor service. That there is a command that you want to run after a certain delay. There is a command which will have a certain delay, and after that it will run periodically after some time. And then there is a command which has an initial delay. Okay, run periodically with a fixed delay. Each next starts after a delay of the previous. Okay. So this is based on the starting time, and once this ends, then you have a delay. Like this is a little different. Periodic is the starting times are these fixed. This is like when the job finishes, then you have a fixed delay and then the next job will start. So you have to implement a way in which you can keep giving multiple commands and your code will manage all these and complete all the commands in the way they are designed, that after a long delay, there are different things working. And I think I'll just show the question. Right. This has been asked like multiple times. And it's still like there is a lot of good discussion over here. You can read, I feel that there are some solutions that people have posted and people have told in replies that it is wrong because there is no deadlock. It's like producer consumer problem and stuff. Okay. No, I think this was earlier asked in SD2, but eventually now I have seen one interview which has asked this in SD1. Okay. Okay. So how do you do these kind of things is what you need to learn. See, even if you're not able to code all these things, you need to know how to work with such problems. Okay, I'm not saying that you will become expert. Sooner this will be asked in intern roles. Yeah, maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe it's possible. Okay, so this is the problem. And multiple companies have asked this question. This is a very repetitive question. This is a very repetitive question and you should know this question almost by heart at this point. Okay. It's a very, very interesting question and multiple times. And for those who have worked in startups and all, I think Celery and all, if you have used Django, multiple different like services are there. Whenever you want to run delayed jobs, this is a very common infra that you need. That you want to run a job with a certain delay in a certain periodic fashion. Okay, this is available in almost all companies. Yeah. So you want to schedule a mail every day at 7 p.m. So you will decide the initial delay and period of 24 hours. So it will keep running that same command every day at this. Yeah, you can write this same question in C++ also. I think I have written like the code that I have written, it's in C++ only. Okay. It's possible to do it in C++ also. Just the signatures will change a little bit. That's it. Nothing much changes. Okay. It's more about the strategy. How do you make this code work? Okay. And there are some very first thoughts that comes up that very interestingly, suppose you say a job comes and says it needs a 3 second delay. So what you can do is whenever a job comes, you will spawn a new thread and you will mark it with a sleep command of 3 seconds. And after 3 seconds, it will wake up and it will complete the job. Forget about this periodic job for now. Forget about this periodic job for now. It can never, like, you can never just solve the normal delay wala problem only that easily. Forget about the last two commands. How do you make sure that there is a function which, given a delay, it runs that function after a certain delay? How do you solve this? Fixed rate, fixed delay तो बात की बात है, right? Fixed rate, fixed delay तो बात की बात है. This is like next things. How do you even schedule something to be run after some time? The strategy is that you make something sleep. I mean, there is a queue and you make it sleep somehow, right? That there is a thread which is going to run this. You allocate that you have to run this command, but first sleep for 3 seconds. So your whenever this job came, you spawned a new thread. You asked it to sleep for 3 seconds, and then this command will run. Is this a possible solution? First of all, it might not be the best, but it is possible, right? And when this command runs, then it will again spawn another thread which will have a delay of 3 seconds, and it will then run this. So this way we can possibly do the repeated thing also if you want. Does this make sense to everyone? Yes or no? One possibility is whenever a particular command comes, we will say create a thread which will sleep for the delay, initial delay, and then it will run this command. And if it is periodic, we will say a thread will come, it will sleep for 3 seconds, run the command, and then again it will spawn another thing of the same type. Does this solve the problem? Almost. I mean, it's a good solution actually. Are you able to make sense? How is this working? Yes or no? Or this is too hard? If you, this is multi-threading problem. This is a multi-threading problem. That you have to make the threads work in a way that these commands are run. Yeah, set timeout in, yeah, that what you have used, right? Something like this. Okay. But if you keep spawning new thread for every command, soon enough there will be a lot of threads. And this is what is called thrashing. That when you keep, when the number of threads or programs is so much that the switching between threads is taking almost all the time and you are not doing the actual command run. This is called thrashing, right? If you keep spawning unlimited number of threads, can you make unlimited number of threads really in a program? Not really, right? Because you have to if you have seen my videos of OS, please watch them. They are very, very good, I feel, at least for concept clarity. You have to always open the box, load the things in core CPU, and then run it, right? So that opening and closing itself is taking so much time that you are not even using things. Okay. So this is something we cannot do. Another is a single loop that polls the list of timers. Like, the problem is, if there is a busy wait or something is using the CPU, then this single loop will fail. Okay. So there are multiple, like, for a junior engineer, I expect at least that you can keep something like this as a data structure or as a solution, that you can have a min heap, which is keyed by the next time run. When will something run next time? The thread wait until will keep the next nearest deadline, right? There will be a thread, right, which will wait until the next deadline comes. When the time arrives, it will pick the job from the queue, from the priority queue, and it will run it on the thread. It will print it, it will complete its job, and then it will pick the next thing. Okay. Now, if it is something that needs to be completed in one shot, do it and then complete. If it is a fixed rate thing, then complete, and then next will be previous schedule time plus multiples of periods, and then schedule it again in the queue. Fixed delay, whatever time currently is now plus delay, and put it again into the queue. There is only one thread. So the way this is working is, there is a queue where jobs are coming, right? There is a thread. It will pick the threads one by one from the job. If it is one time job, then it will complete it. Then it will pick the next thing. It will say complete it. But if it's a repeated job, then it will add another type of the same thing at a different plus t time, and then it will pick the next thing. So this will be a simple thread plus a job queue. Have you seen something like this in any place? Have you seen something like this maybe when you have read about JavaScript? How does things run inside? I don't know. Do you have any idea of how things are run inside JavaScript when you are using set timeout and all? There is a function called set timeout in JavaScript, and you can maintain bunch of event queues. There are 2 event queues, and then there is an execution context that loads them and solves them, right? Okay, so this is the basic. At least you should be able to explain this in an interview if you are a junior engineer, if you have solved a JavaScript, if you have read how JavaScript actually works with this set timeout function. This is a very common interview question. You should prepare this. And this is the model that we are keeping over here. And something like this you can try and implement in an interview. And this is a very good solution for a junior engineer, I feel. Okay. But if you are senior engineer, then this doesn't work. You have to use a worker pool, right? Thread worker pool. The previous solution that we discussed, that keeps spawning thread, it's a good solution, but the number of threads becomes infinitely large. So what we do is, we have a worker thread pool from where some fixed number of workers threads are there. It will keep taking the things from the queue, and it will schedule according to this in the common queue that is there. So there is a common queue, and there is a pool where there are multiple threads which are worker threads, and whenever something gets cleared, it will pick up the next thing from the queue, and it will work on it. If while this is working, another thread can load this and complete this, and so on. Okay. And according to what we did over here, the same thing, but not just one thread, multiple threads in a worker pool. This is what is expected from at least SD2 or SD3 engineers. And this kind of infrastructure is very, very common. Be that at code level, be that at microservice level, that you have something like, let's say, Kafka or RabbitMQ you are using, right? And you are queuing things from, say, a Django. So since I have used a lot of Django, A very common structure is like you have celery set up, you have a RabbitMQ message queue, and you have some celery workers or workers over here, multiple workers. So it will keep popping from the queue and it will work on them, right? This is a very common infrastructure that works. Okay. There are multiple workers who are continuously working. Okay. And there is a common backend which keeps getting the task and you will do this. Do you work on AZ backend? Yeah, the services, like I have written 3 workers of my own service and a RabbitMQ of my own thing, right? Event driven infrastructure. Yes, I have only written AZ's backend partially. No longer I work on it, but the initial Docker Compose where it contains the RabbitMQ and workers in the same same EC2 for now, because we don't need to go too much distributed, right? We can still have, as long as you can keep some everything monolithic and in the same server, it's always best. So I only wrote these things in my own code, if I remember correctly. Okay. So these things are very, very common. And I think I've showed this in internal classes also. Maybe we'll discuss this someday. But this is what is expected from you in this interview, that you have a thread pool that you are creating. For fixed rate, compute the next schedule time by adding the multiples of periods in this and reschedule them. And you can cancel, that will change and flip something to be this. And shutdown means every job will slowly close. This kind of functions you'll have to support. So this is what you'll have to write. I mean, if I was in an interview, I would probably write a simple scheduler like this, right? Because these are shutdown functions and all. A task will have bunch of runnable function, a type and duration. Okay. And like when you are enqueuing a runnable of a particular type and of a particular interval, and what is the first time point when it has to run, it will take some locks and it will put it into the priority queue. Okay. Then you will keep looping. This is the loop. Okay, which will current, it will take bunch of locks. It will pick from the queue. If there is no task to run, it will sleep again, or else it will process that particular task. Okay, this is just a single. This is a single like worker model. There is no thread pool over here. There is only one thread which is running all of this. Right. This is the first solution that I was talking about. And probably I would have implemented this only in an interview. Like, you have to be very smart. You have to gauge whether you are able to do this or not. Okay. Like whether you will be able to write so much code in the interview or not. I would have not written all this. I've just written the main functions and I would have asked the interviewer which functions to fill. Right. But if you want to use thread pools and stuff, then there's a lot of things to do. Okay. These are the thread pools. Hard problem, but again, you can read more about this. But at least know this infrastructure. The diagram that I showed right now, right? Know that these are possible. If you only explain this in the interview, the interviewer will be very happy. You don't need to code all these things. The code might look very scary and you might feel that, Vivek, ye to kabhi code ho hi nahi sakta. It's very hard. How will I even write this ever? But if you know the foundational ideas, then it's enough in most cases of interviews, because at least 30 minutes goes into discussion and then you are writing the basic structure of the code, and then rest, the only what interviewer asks you to fill only one function. So you don't need to do that. Okay. So this is how you can possibly solve this problem. And this is a very common problem. Similar codes you will also find in Java also. But since I am doing mostly things in C++, I prefer C++ itself. Okay. Interesting class today. Did you enjoy today's class? This is a little different. I thought, I'm not sure exactly if you guys would be able to comprehend everything that I have explained today, but There are a lot of good ideas involved, and the more you read, so these things are like, na, if you have ever heard it, if you have agar if you have ever heard it, you will be able to explain something in the interview. But if you don't know the idea itself, then you can never explain it in an interview. So it's a matter of fact that you should listen to these ideas uh, more and more, and then you will be able to solve many more questions in interviews, right? Okay. Exactly. जैसे वो गेट वाला आइडिया इज वेरी कूल आई फील आई मीन आई आल्सो इंटरेस्ट लाइक आई वाज आल्सो व्हेन आई वाज रीडिंग अबाउट इट आई वाज लाइक दिस इज सुपर कूल आइडिया मतलब वो स्टारवेशन हटाना इज लाइक वेरी हार्ड इफ यू थिंक ऑफ एनी अदर स्ट्रेटजी बट दिस लाइक गारंटीज दैट स्टारवेशन नहीं होगा प्लीज मेक अ कोर्स ऑन व्हाट्स नीडेड इन टुडेस जॉब मार्केट अरे एल्गोरिथम है ना व्हाट मोर डू आई वांट टू क्रिएट उसमें सब कुछ कराते ही है यार एलएलडी कर रहे थे अभी लाइक लास्ट वी डिड क्रैश कोर्स ऑफ एलएलडी नेक्स्ट विल डू क्रैश कोर्स ऑफ एचएलडी एंड देन विल आल्सो कम टू कॉन्करेंसी एंड स्टफ ओके गुड चलो दिस वुड बी ऑल फ्रॉम माय साइड टुडे next 5-10 minutes we can talk about something I think 8 minutes I have till 11:30 I'm happy to discuss any question विवेक ये मेरे को डाउट है बताओ आप कुछ इसके बारे में कुछ ज्ञान दे दो मेरे को if you have anything that you feel like I'm happy to answer that make sure to join the telegram group if you haven't because I'll share the slides and let me do that now only so that if somebody wants to refer to the material that we discussed just now you can access it from the टेलीग्राम ग्रुप सर मोटिवेशन दो मोटिवेशन यार बाहर से लेके होता नहीं है पता है क्या व्हाट माय अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज अगर तुम्हें बोलना पड़ रहा है कि मुझे मोटिवेशन दो तो इट्स हाईली अनलाइकली दैट आई विल बी एबल टू एवर मोटिवेट यू ठीक है क्योंकि फटी होनी चाहिए थोड़ी सी मोटिवेशन मोटिवेशन आजकल काम नहीं करता है वो ऐसे पंप लेना से काम नहीं होता है खुद से खुद के पीछे ऐसे लगी रहनी चाहिए कि भाई हो नहीं रहा है कुछ करना है एंड सो ऑन देयर इज नो अदर वे पॉसिबल है ना क्योंकि दुनिया इतना हार्ड हो गया तुम बोल रहे हो मोटिवेशन दो 10 लोग मोटिवेटेड बैठे हुए ऑलरेडी ठीक है बट अगेन मोटिवेशन की बात तो है कि लाइफ में मैंने अभी तक ऐसे किसी को नहीं देखा जिसने मेहनत किया है एंड वो इवेंचुअली अच्छी जगह पे नहीं पहुंच गया ठीक है ओके तो मोटिवेट तो मैं तुम्हें इसके लिए करूंगा कि यार प्लीज थोड़ा अच्छा बनने की कोशिश करो ट्राई टू लर्न मोर कंसेप्ट ट्राई टू लर्न मोर गुड आइडियाज एंड ऑल एंड इवेंचुअली मतलब जॉब वगैरह लग जाएगा मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं लगेगा ऐसा नहीं होने वाला किसी का अनलेस दे आर नॉट स्पेंडिंग द टाइम टू लर्न स्किल्स नहीं है तो नहीं लगेगा हम लोग डिग्री ड्रिवन से स्किल ड्रिवन में ऑलमोस्ट आ ही गए अब तो आई होप यू गाइस रियलाइज दैट एआई इज रेंडरिंग तुमसे पहले वो डिग्री को रेंडर आउट कर रहा है ओके आई होप यू गाइस आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट कि डिग्री से तो अब हायरिंग और ही कम होते जा रही है दिन पे दिन ठीक है कॉलेजेस में कॉलेज के टीएनपीज ला नहीं पा रहे हैं कंपनीज को क्योंकि डिग्री से तो जॉब नहीं लगेगी ना तो तुमसे पहले एआई ने डिग्रीज को बेरोजगार कर दिया है ठीक है सो नाउ इट्स ऑलमोस्ट वी आर ऑलमोस्ट मूविंग टुवर्ड्स स्किल ड्रिवन सोसाइटी स्किल प्लस नेटवर्क ड्रिवन सोसाइटी तो नेटवर्क है या स्किल है तो जॉब लगेगा एंड स्किल बहुत हार्ड नहीं है मैं बता रहा हूँ मैं जानता हूं कि 2-3 महीने में प्रेप करना बहुत हार्ड है बट 1 साल में तुम इंडिया के अच्छे मतलब आईआईटी लेवल के ऊपर पहुंच जाओ मैं तुम्हें ये गारंटी कर सकता हूँ मतलब 1 साल में इंसान पहुंच सकता है उस लेवल पे कि मेरे को बहुत सारे आइडियाज पता है मेरे को सारे डोमेन का डिसेंट एनफ एवरेज पता है किसी किसी में बहुत अच्छा भी हूं मैं ये लेवल पहुंचा जा सकता है ओके एंड यू कैन प्योरली बिल्ड दैट स्किल सर आई एम फ्रॉम वेरी बॉट कॉलेज आई डोंट हैव एनी एक्सपीरियंस रिलेटेड टू माय फील्ड वह किसी टीचर को कुछ हमको भी सिखाया है लास्ट ईयर ऑफ बीटेक द मेन प्रॉब्लम इज नॉट कि तुम अच्छे कॉलेज से नहीं हो द मेन प्रॉब्लम इज यू तुम अब लास्ट ईयर में हो एंड दुनिया में लोगों को इशू इसलिए हो रहा है कि बहुत लेट स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं लोग वन ऑफ द मोस्ट कॉमन थिंग दैट आई गेट इज, भैया आप लास्ट ईयर में हूं, क्या करूं? कोई कुछ नहीं कर सकता. द प्रॉब्लम इज दैट कि सपोज किसी चीज को प्रेप करने में तुम्हारे पोटेंशियल पे अगर 1.5 साल लगता है, ठीक है, तो तुम लास्ट ईयर में तो आपको इसमें क्या कर सकते हो उस चीज में? आइदर तुम किसी तरह कुछ शॉर्टकट लगाने की कोशिश करोगे, इधर उधर से करने की कोशिश करोगे, या तुम अब 1.5 साल लेके बैठ के पढ़ोगे उसको. और कॉलेज से तो कभी किसी से कुछ फर्क पड़ा नहीं है. मुझे नहीं लगता कि मैंने कोई सब्जेक्ट कुछ खास कॉलेज से कुछ पढ़ लिया है. मतलब ऐसा तो, मतलब पता नहीं, मेरे को हो सकता है पीयर ग्रुप मिला है, एंड आई एग्री, बट मतलब मैंने कुछ ऐसे कॉलेज से कुछ बहुत तोड़ पढ़ लिया हो जिसकी वजह से मैं कुछ अच्छा कर लिया मैंने, ऐसा तो मेरे को नहीं लगता है. मुझे अच्छी चीजें सीखी है, बट ऐसा कुछ नहीं सीख गया हूँ कि बहुत कुछ हो गया है. कोडिंग कल्चर डेफिनेटली, दैट हेल्प. कोडिंग कल्चर, बस मुझे अच्छे दोस्त मिल गए, दैट इज ऑल्सो देयर. नहीं, अच्छे प्रॉफ भी होते हैं यार, आई विल नॉट से कि प्रॉफ अच्छे नहीं होते. देयर आर वेरी गुड प्रॉफ्स, आई हैव मेट एक्सट्रीमली गुड प्रॉफ्स, है ना. बट दैट डजंट मीन कि, बट प्रॉफ्स आर नॉट ड्रिवन टुवर्ड्स एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी, राइट? मतलब उनका गोल एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी है ही नहीं, एंड दैट इज वेयर द डिस्कनेक्ट इज. एक प्रॉफ क्लास में तुम्हें जॉब दिलाने के लिए नहीं पढ़ा रहा है, ठीक है, पर तुम्हें जॉब चाहिए. भैया कैप जेमिनी के लिए टिप्स दे दो, फॉर्मेट प्रीवियस ईयर्स बैठ के देखो अच्छे से, और क्या टिप्स क्या दूं इसमें? डीबी हार्ड लेवल को विजुलाइज कैसे करें? कुछ नहीं यार, फॉर्म्स को ही स्ट्रॉन्ग करो और बेटर, मतलब कंस्ट्रेंट्स बेटर समझने की कोशिश करो. आईसीपीएससी यार प्लेटफॉर्म पे आ गया है, बस वो कोर्स के लिस्ट में ऐड नहीं हुआ है. प्लेटफॉर्म पे बन गया है, मैं उमंग को भी बोल देता हूँ ऐड कर देने. मैंने कल ही वो कोर्स देखा, बट चलो बोल दिया. जावा का ऐड हुआ है, हाँ जावा 101 ऐड हुआ है, ठीक है. सर एआई का रोड मैप बता दो. एआई का रोड मैप यार ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. आई डोंट थिंक ऐसे कुछ अलग इसका रोड मैप मैं तुम्हें दे दूंगा. बट इफ आई हैव टू इन्वेस्ट थोड़ा सा इन एआई रोड मैप्स एंड ऑल, मतलब माई अंडरस्टैंडिंग वुड बी, मैं तुम्हें बताता हूँ एआई का रोड मैप क्या होगा. मैं कहीं बनाया था बैठ के, है ना. तो मैं तो यार पहले तो फाउंडेशनल एमएल से स्टार्ट करता, ठीक है. कह रहे बट रिप्लाई नहीं कर रहे. प्लीज मेल ऑन सपोर्ट एट द रेट एल्गोजेनिथ, उस पर तो मेल आना चाहिए, रिप्लाई आना चाहिए, और एल्स आई विल गेट इनटू इट, ठीक है. फाउंडेशनल एमएल, फाउंडेशनल डीएल, जैसे एनएलपी सीवी का बेसिक्स, और बेसिक टेक्निक्स ही नहीं है ये, तुम्हें पहले एक बेसिक एआई एंड डीएल पढ़ना पड़ेगा, मतलब एमएल एंड डीएल पढ़ना पड़ेगा टू अंडरस्टैंड कि हो क्या रहा है, ठीक. फिर तुम आओगे थोड़ा जेन एआई एंड एलएलएम रेडीनेस में. उसमें तुम क्या पढ़ोगे? वेक्टर एम्बेडिंग्स कैसे काम करती है. ओके, तो मैं देखता हूँ आज. ओह नाइस, शॉर्टलिस्टेड फॉर एटलान बैकएंड, नाइस. ओ हमारा वो टास्क काम आ गया क्या कल के डिस्कशन, उस दिन के डिस्कशन? not allowing lower branches, and one more thing, no off campus opportunity for intern. True. तो तुम बड़ी कंपनी में नहीं जा पाओगे स्टार्ट में, दैट्स द रियलिटी एट दिस पॉइंट. ओके, तो ठीक है, इसमें कुछ खराब सोचने का नहीं है. अगर तुम इमीडिएटली एकदम बड़े में नहीं पहुंच गए तो तुम्हारी करियर नहीं खत्म हो गई है, ठीक है. मेरे को मैं एक जूनियर से बात कर रहा था, वो एक स्टार्टअप में है. तो वो बता रहा था कि मतलब ऐसे जो लोग अच्छा बन जा रहे हैं बट वो नहीं पहुंच रहे अभी बड़े कंपनी में, उनको उतना टेंशन नहीं होता है बाय द टाइम दे रीच द थर्ड फोर्थ फिफ्थ ईयर, बिकॉज उनके माइंड में मेंटालिटी ऐसा ही रहता है कि मतलब ज़्यादा बोर हो गए या कुछ नहीं हो रहा है तो गूगल चले जाएंगे, इस टाइप का, अगर तुम उतने अच्छे हो तो. बट एंट्री लेवल पे पहुंचना इज वेरी हार्ड. अभी एंट्री बहुत हार्ड है. सर डू एन इंटरव्यू विद सोहम पाल. ओ ओके. Yeah, Soham just did AZ and he had become CM on in this. I don't know if you guys have seen the Hall of Fame. उस पे अभी आप लोग सब ऐड कर रहे हैं धीरे धीरे, मतलब अभी लास्ट 2 बैचेस की ऐड हुए, 2-3 बैचेस के. But that is a place where you can find people to network. Sir, how do you get first ever internship or job? What did you do special? मैंने तो, if I to be very honest, if I have to say, I did a random internship in a like foreign under a professor outside, uh, and that helped me to get a shortlist in Adobe because they saw that I had written a research paper, and in Adobe research I got selected. But interview में उनको पता चला कि मुझे ML ही नहीं आता है, but still they selected me at the end. Okay, they thought कि I'll be able to help them. I'll be able to help them in writing a paper maybe, मतलब work and writing paper and all. तो वो lucky था, to be very honest. It's all luck. देखो यार, मैं पीछे जाके कितने भी बोलूँ कि मैंने ये किया इसकी वजह से मेरा लग गया, but things when you see as a backward motion or behind, you can always connect the dots, but सामने it's always luck. मेरे लिए भी इसके बाद नेक्स्ट 2 दिन में मेरे साथ क्या होगा, नेक्स्ट मेरे लाइफ में क्या होगा, वो मेरे लिए लक ही है. ठीक है, तो पीछे डॉट्स कनेक्ट करके तुम कोई मॉडल नहीं बना सकते ऐसा कि ये करूंगा तो मैं बन ही जाऊंगा, ये इट्स नेवर पॉसिबल. ठीक है, देयर इज अ बुक कॉल्ड रैंडमनेस, व्हाट्स द नेम, फूल्ड बाय रैंडमनेस. ओके, उसपे बेसिकली वही कंसेप्ट समझाते हैं कि हम पीछे देख करके कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं कि डॉट्स कनेक्ट हो रही थी, वो मैंने ये किया इसके वजह से मेरा ये जॉब लग गया. रेट्रोस्पेक्ट में बोलना बहुत आसान होता है, करेक्ट, बट फ्यूचर में तुम नहीं कर सकते वैसे डॉट कनेक्ट्स कि मैं आज ये करूंगा तो मैं नेक्स्ट यही बन जाऊंगा. ठीक है, हाउ डू यू बिकम सो ऑब्सेस्ड विद सीपी? क्योंकि इट्स अ इंटरेस्टिंग स्पोर्ट, मुझे ऐसा लगता है. इट्स अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग स्पोर्ट एंड आई थिंक मोर पीपल शुड डू इट. इट्स जस्ट दैट अभी जो एग्जिस्टिंग सिस्टम से एंड फॉर्मेट से वो गड़बड़ हो गया है बिकॉज ऑफ चीटिंग एंड ऑल प्रॉब्ली, बट दैट डजंट मीन कि सीपी एज अ स्पोर्ट इज वेरी बैड. ठीक है, भाई आपने डोमेन भी एल्गोजेनिक क्यों नहीं लिया? algozenit.com हमारा ही है, बट हम लोग एक साइट टू साइट मूव कर रहे थे तो इसलिए उसमें उस समय mang.in लेके उसमें शिफ्ट किया था. ठीक है, अभी algozenit.com पे वापस मूव कर सकते हैं, बट देन अब बहुत सारे लिंक्स mang.in को पॉइंट करते हैं तो अब इसलिए शिफ्ट नहीं किया. सब यूपीएससी टीचर, देखो यार, अगर कोई फ्यूचर प्रेडिक्ट कर देता, अगर वो यूपीएससी टीचर अगर बोल रहा है आईटी सेक्टर क्रैश करेगा ही, तो उसको बोलो कि आईटी सेक्टर के जॉब को शॉर्ट शेयर्स को शॉर्ट कर दे, तो वो तो करोड़ों कमा लेगा. अगर अगर इतना ही उसको पता ही है कि अगर आईटी सेक्टर क्रैश ही कर जाएगा और रिसेशन आ ही जाएगा, तो स्टॉक मार्केट पे जाके आईटी की जो कंपनीज है उनको शॉर्ट कर दे, करोड़ों कमा लेगा वो इंसान. अगर किसी को फ्यूचर पता होता है ना, अगर इतना ही कन्विक्शन है उनको, तो बोलो. सी, वही बात है कि तुम सामने सिर्फ गेस ही कर सकते हो एंड इट्स रैंडम, एंड पीछे तुम उसको कनेक्ट करते हो, मैंने बोला था इसलिए हो गया. इट्स नेवर कि तुम कोई बोल रहा है इसलिए हो ही जाएगा. ठीक है, द बिग शॉट मूवी तो देखा ही है तुम लोगों ने शायद, है ना? इतना ही पता है तो बोलो शॉर्ट करे फिर. सर अमिट्स ऑल दिस फेक कोर्स सेलर्स नहीं नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है यार, सब कोई अपना अपना कोशिश कर रहे हैं, बट मुझे कंपेयर मत करो एटलीस्ट उनके साथ. मैं कंपैरिजन स्लॉट पे नहीं खड़ा होना चाहता लोगों के साथ. इतने क्रैश हो सकते हैं आईटी में, एक सब डोमेन में बबल बस्ट. हाँ, मतलब कहीं ना कहीं तो होगा ही, कुछ ना कुछ तो होगा. आई डेफिनेटली श्योर, मतलब बहुत ही अनप्रेडिक्टेबल चल रहा है ना यार. मतलब हम लोग तो छोटे प्लेयर्स है यार, क्या वर्ल्ड कंट्री कंट्री में क्या हो रहा है कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. हम लोग का जॉब तो दूर की चीज है, बहुत ही. कंट्री गायब हो जा सकती है पूरी पूरी ऐसे, मतलब उनका पूरा इकोनॉमी खराब हो जा सकता है. There has been countries who have gone into debts, unlimited amount of debt from other countries, right? तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि हम लोग कर सकते हैं. What did you think of career after 20 years के बाद? तो मैं इतना करियर नहीं सोच रहा भाई. 20 years तक I don't. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि I am not the person who can sit down and do all the coding for all my life. तो probably no. But career into like software development, definitely it's a good field to be in, because उसके बाद भी जो लोग अच्छे हैं वो लोग अच्छा पैसा कमा ही रहे होंगे. 5 year after, I think 5 year after still like still AI will keep booming a little bit in my opinion. Okay, so there is a lot of possibilities that can happen in next 5 years, and I think next 5 years experimental होने का बहुत अच्छा time है. The reason why I am also a little bit experimental in these days is because मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि this is probably the best time to experiment. Okay. बट या पहले तुम लोग एक जॉब लगाओ, ये सब चीज़ें थोड़े से मतलब 3-4 साल मैंने जॉब कर ली है, ठीक है, तो उसके बाद बोलने में अच्छा लगता है. 15 साल का बाद यार पता नहीं, आई डोंट नो. 15 साल तक मैंने सोचा नहीं है भाई. 15 साल बहुत दूर की चीज़ हो गई. ये मेरे विजन के स्कोप के बाहर है कि मैं खुद क्या कर रहा हूँ, मैं तब सोचूंगा. 1-2 साल का मैंने सोच रखा है, 15 साल का नहीं सोच रखा है मैंने, ठीक है. Experimental in the sense is I feel you have to eventually become a very strong generalist. मुझे ऐसा लगता है, very strong generalist. So I'm trying to upskill myself in all domains instead of being expert in one. जैसे मैं सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग करता रहा हूँ तो मैं शायद उसमें और अच्छा बन सकता हूँ, बट आई डोंट फंडामेंटली बिलीव कि मैं सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग ही सिर्फ डबल डाउन करके उसमें उसका टॉप मोस्ट इंजीनियर बनना चाहूंगा. इंस्टेड देयर इज अ गेम ऑफ जनरलिस्ट्स वेयर तुम्हें क्या सब कुछ करना आता है क्या, विच इज वेरी हार्ड टू डू इन जनरल, राइट. एंड उसमें बहुत ज्यादा फेक लोग हैं. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि देर आर सो मेनी पीपल हु आर जो ज्ञान की बातें बहुत करेंगे, बट उनको तुम काम दे दो तो काम नहीं होगा, ठीक है. तो इस दुनिया में बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग जर्नलिस्ट की बहुत जरूरत है, उसकी बहुत डिमांड होगी इन जनरल, मुझे ऐसा लगता है, ठीक है. तो मुझे वो वाला स्पॉट पिक करना है, मुझे ऐसा लगता है. हाँ, मैंने बहुत बजवर्ड वाले यूज करने दिखे हैं. मेरे को जहां मेरे को ऐसे लोग दिखते हैं मैं थोड़ा दूरी होने की कोशिश करता हूँ ऐसे लोगों से, ठीक है. मैंने ऐसे बड़े मतलब थोड़े 10-12 मेरे से ऊपर साल के लोगों से मैंने बात कर रखी है. उनकी बातें मैं सुनता हूँ, मतलब इंग्लिश बहुत अच्छी और दुनिया भर की कहानियां और ये सब वो सब. होगा क्या, आउटकम क्या है भाई. मैं वैसा इंसान नहीं हूं कि मैं बैठ के कहानियों में बातें कर सकता हूँ, ठीक है. मेरे को चाहिए ऑब्जेक्टिव फंक्शन क्या ऑप्टिमाइज करना है, कैसे इसको फर्स्ट प्रिंसिपल से कर सकते हैं. सिंपल बात है, ये बस हमें सॉल्व करना है. क्या मेरे पास टूल्स से एट माई डिप्लॉय, हाउ कैन आई यूज देम इन द मोस्ट एफिशिएंट वे पॉसिबल, ठीक है. तो एक दो प्रोजेक्ट बता दो. प्रोजेक्ट प्रोजेक्ट तो यार पूरा वीडियो बना रखा है तुम लोगों ने, क्या कर रहे हो, ठीक है. एक बजवर्ड मींस मतलब बजवर्ड मतलब कि फ्रंटियर एआई ये वो दुनिया भर के वर्ड्स यूज करेंगे लोग, पर उनसे कुछ होगा नहीं. Steve Jobs was a good generalist, but he was very good at marketing and product, I would say. Do you have an ideal person in your mind that you want to become? Not really. I mean, I am not a very big believer of having someone whom I want to become like, because मुझे लगता है कि if you want to become like someone, it's like trying to find a roadmap कि मुझे ये करना है. And I don't know if you had seen my LinkedIn post. I had commented once that roadmap are for tourists and not for explorers. Maps are for tourists and not for explorers, right? So मैं मैप लेके चलने वाला इंसान हूँ ही नहीं, मुझे ऐसा लगता है, बाय अ कोर नेचर. तो मुझे ऐसे एक्सप्लोर करने में अच्छा लग रहा है, एंड एज लॉन्ग एज आई एम एबल टू satisfy my human needs as such, मतलब खाना घर चीजें सॉर्टेड है मेरे पास, आई वुड नॉट वांट टू बी लाइक कि मेरे को ये रोड मैप पे चलना है. I'll figure out. Okay. Sorry, Kandos, I stayed following your strat excel for problem solving. It's a very nice strategy. Also left solving very hard like Lichao, etc. Got it. Okay. I'm thinking of making a project where it parses doc data and sends alerts of last dates in the doc. Yeah, it's a good project. Last dates in the doc, as in what doc? भैया टेक्सास के इंटरव्यू में रूबिक्स क्यूब का सॉल्वर फंक्शन लिखा था, वो आज हाउ टू मॉडिफाई इट फॉर 4x4. नाइस एक्सटेंशन. कैसे करोगे 4x4? मेरे पास 4x4 तो नहीं है, 3x3 है. 4x4 का एक दो और उसमें मूव होता है जो सॉल्व कर सकते हैं, बट तुम्हें कोड में तो एक्सटेंड हो जाना चाहिए. 4x4 के मूव्स कैसे लिखोगे? दैट इज पॉसिबल, नो? लाइक उसके मूव्स डिफाइन करने पड़ेंगे तुम्हें. It's a very good question actually. 4x4 Rubik's cube को 4, I'll get it added in the AZ. How to extend AZ का जो 3x3 Rubik's cube solver है to 4x4 in object oriented man. It's a very good problem actually. अच्छा क्वेश्चन पूछा किसी ने. बिकॉज मूव सीक्वेंस थोड़े चेंज हो जाएंगे उसमें. मूव्स तुम्हें नए इंट्रोड्यूस करने पड़ेंगे बिकॉज उसमें फेस डाउन अप अलग अलग था, राइट? तो यहाँ पर चेंजेस हो जाएंगे थोड़ी सी. हाउ टू मेक प्रोजेक्ट्स, जो रूबिक्स क्यूब वाला मैंने इसलिए बताया वो, दैट इज अ वेरी गुड प्रोजेक्ट. लाइक सॉल्वर्स, engines and solvers you can build in C++ and benchmark them. That's a very good way of building something in C++. भाई आपकी गर्लफ्रेंड है क्या? आ गया इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन. फोर क्रॉस फोर ही तो एल्गो अलग होती है. करेक्ट, ट्रू. बट उसमें बस दो मूव्स, उसमें बस एक एल्गोरिदम एक्स्ट्रा चाहिए होता है और थोड़ा कॉमन सेंस, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि दो साइड को स्वैप करने वाला एक मूव होता है, बाकी सब चीज. Is ICPC camp useful for interviews? No, ICPC camp is not for interviews. It's for DSS. It's for CP, purely CP. Do you have any interest in like singing, acting, dancing? Singing, thoda bahut I'll say. Um, Drawing maybe a little bit. Painting, I'd say. Sir, how much time it takes to be done with any Rubik's Cube project? 1 week if you are doing it yourself. भैया आपका लिंक्डइन कौन सा मानते हैं? Some me, some my team. वो सब मेरे ही आते हैं भाई, मेरे ही स्क्रीनशॉट से वो सारे, जो तुमने आज का पोस्ट देखा अगर होगा तो वो मेरे ही व्हाट्सएप के स्क्रीनशॉट है वो. अभी स्ट्रीम चल रही थी. 42 मिनट्स पहले स्ट्रीम चल रही थी. स्ट्रीम क्या चल रही थी? या रीसेंट लीड कोड कॉन्टेस्ट, या पापा को नया घर गिफ्ट किया है आपने अपने मम्मी पापा को? नहीं यार, अभी तक तो नहीं करा है. इतने ही पैसे नहीं छापता हूँ मैं जैसे तुम सोच रहे हो. ठीक है. आजकल घर के पैसे बहुत महंगे हो गए, बहुत ही. वैलोरेंट नहीं यार, स्मैश कार्ड वगैरह खेल सकते हैं. दैट इज वन गेम आई प्ले. ओके ओके. अच्छा 11 o'clock पे, वो तो शेड्यूल कर सकते हो ना तुम लिंक्डइन पे, यू कैन शेड्यूल पोस्ट। भैया आप मिलेनियर हो, देखो अच्छे अच्छे। भैया आपकी नेटवर्थ कितनी है, भैया आपकी गर्लफ्रेंड है कि नहीं, देख रहे हो क्वेश्चंस, देख रहे हो, ये सब तुम मेरे को बस जूम के मीट से पूछ सकते हो, ये सब यूट्यूब पे नहीं हो सकता। ठीक है, एलसीएम ग्राफ इज इजी प्रॉब्लम लाइक डीएसयू है वो शायद। यस, चेस भी खेलता हूँ बट इतना ज़्यादा नहीं। चेस तो कभी कभी एक एक मिनट खेलता हूँ मैं, ज़्यादा नहीं खेलता हूँ आजकल। स्मैश कार्ड आई प्ले लाइक, I think there are 3 games that I play. Like if I have to give names of games I play. एक तो जैसे ये है स्मैश कार्ड हो गया। I used to play Mini Militia a lot earlier. अभी जैसे एक ऐसे टावर डिफेंस गेम है वो खेलता हूँ कभी कभी, जब भी मुझे मौका मिले। टावर वार करके एक गेम है छोटा सा, मोबाइल में खेलता हूँ कभी कभी। बाकी तो यार चेस थोड़ा बहुत ऑनलाइन कभी खेल लिया, टैब खोल के से खेल लिया थोड़ी देर के लिए। दैट्स इट भैया। स्टैंडर्ड क्वेश्चन या थोड़ा वेरिएशन था जो ओए में है, बट आज लीड कोड दिस ने पूछ लिया फॉर 6। लीड कोड हार्ड एलसीएम ग्राफ्स पूछ लिया फॉर 624 एलपी है। तो पूछते हैं ना यार, ये तो ऐसे एलसीएम ग्राफ इज एक्चुअली ए डुएबल प्रॉब्लम है, ऐसे क्वेश्चंस आ चुके हैं पहले। ठीक है, जैसे नंबर थ्योरी वाले क्वेश्चन अच्छे हैं। भाई आपके साथ के लोग क्या कर रहे हैं जो आईआईटी में पढ़ते थे? गूगल, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट, इन सब में ही है, बड़े बड़े कंपनीज में। मेरे जो 3 दोस्त है, शुभम, रोहन, नीतीश, एक गूगल यूएस में, एक गूगल इंडिया में सीनियर सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर है, एक माइक्रोसॉफ्ट में है। चलो, I think we have talked for enough now. You could make money in trading if you use your CP brain, I guess. यार इंडियन स्टॉक मार्केट अच्छा नहीं चल रहा है। मैं मतलब आई डोंट हैव, आई थिंक मेकिंग मनी इन ट्रेडिंग रिक्वायर्स नंबर 1 टाइम, एक्चुअली नंबर 2 टाइम, नंबर 1 मनी। ठीक है, मनी है तो मनी बनेगा उसमें। तुम 10,000 रुपये लगा के अगर तुम 100% भी गेन कर लो अपने पोर्टफोलियो पे, तो वो 20,000 10,000 रुपये का गेन होता है। ठीक है, तो इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल to make money unless you have good amount of money. So I want to focus little bit right now in setting up few things, and then later on I'll work on trading. But my father has been doing it for almost 12 13 years now, for good amount of time, stock markets and stuff. So आई हैव गुड अमाउंट ऑफ आइडिया, है ना। स्क्रीनर वगैरह रिपोर्ट देखना, थोड़ा बहुत आइडिया है मुझे, क्वार्टर रिपोर्ट देखना, ट्रेडिंग व्यू, जिसके पास तुम समझ लो मेरे पास अगर ट्रेडिंग व्यू का जैसे मैंने सब्सक्रिप्शन खरीद रखा है, तो मैंने कुछ तो ट्रेडिंग करता ही हूँ मैं। बट नॉट, इट्स अ पैसिव थिंग दैट यू कैन डू, मतलब वो तुम्हारा एक्टिव काम नहीं हो सकता अनलेस यू आर एक्टिवली ट्रेडिंग फॉर स्ट्रैटेजीज एंड ऑल। तुम क्वांट खुद ही बन गए हो, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट थिंग। उसके लिए यू नीड ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ मनी, इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल टू बी डन एट एन इंडिविजुअल लेवल। ठीक है, companies aren't asking hard question these days, so thinking to take ICPC course, am I thinking wrong? यार अगर इंटर्नशिप एंड प्लेसमेंट के लिए प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो तो एजेड प्रीमियम इज द कोर्स। ठीक है, अगर तुम सिर्फ सीपी पढ़ने के लिए कर रहे हो देन आईसीपीएससी कैंप इज द कोर्स। कल फिर से स्ट्रीम करना, देखते हैं यार। अभी तो लेट नाइट स्ट्रीम हो गया है ऑलमोस्ट, चिल स्ट्रीम में कन्वर्ट हो गया लास्ट पार्ट तो, बट उसके पहले आई थिंक हमने वहाँ भी ऐसी चीज़ें पढ़ी। ठीक है, एक चिल स्ट्रीम करते हैं मे बी इस वीकेंड पे, कभी फ्राइडे वगैरह के टाइम पे, एंड देन वी विल प्ले सम गेम। ओके, आज के लिए अभी यही रखते हैं। नेक्स्ट अभी तो फिर इसके बाद जाता हूँ, थोड़ी देर खाता हूँ, फिर कुछ थोड़ी देर काम वाम करके फिर मूवी वूवी देखूंगा कुछ। ठीक है, चलो, दिस वुड बी इट फॉर टुडे। विल रैप इट अप ओवर हियर। भैया मीट अप करते हैं यार हर्ष। ओके, विल आई सी यू ऑल इन द नेक्स्ट स्ट्रीम। नेक्स्ट स्ट्रीम में भी कुछ ना कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग ही पिक करूंगा जो तुम लोग के प्लेसमेंट्स में भी हेल्प करेगा एंड देन डिस्कशन वाइज भी हेल्प करेगा, राइट। So we have been talking about a lot of good LLD problems, a lot of good ओए के क्वेश्चंस, कुछ सिस्टम डिजाइन वाले। अभी हमने मल्टी थ्रेडिंग वाला ले लिया, मे बी नेक्स्ट हम लोग थोड़ा और कोर एलएलडी, हमने मशीन कोडिंग लिया था, एक कोर एलएलडी ले सकते हैं। वी कैन watch we can look into certain types of interview questions and all which are generally missed. तो ये सब मैं I'll try to cover everything in this placement series, so it should be like a good binge watch for anyone who is serious about studying, right, plus fun थोड़ा सा। okay, Okay. Chalo, that would be all. Thanks for joining in, everyone. We'll see you all in the next stream. Sir, for OH, one good company, lead code hard or CF greater than equal for good companies OA. Algorithmic topics of CF greater than equal to 1600. Not ad hoc and this greedy. Okay? बाकी सारे part of CF greater than equal to 1600 will help more. लीड कोड हार्ड्स ऑफ द रीसेंट कॉन्टेस्ट जो मैंने ओएस के डिसीजन ले रखे थे कुछ टाइम पहले तक, उसके अगर तुम लास्ट 2 प्रॉब्लम देखोगे वो भी बहुत अच्छे आइडियाज है, वो सब आते हैं तुम्हारे ओएस में. चलो, दैट वुड बी ऑल. बाय बाय एवरीवन, हैव अ गुड नाइट. सात्विक इज सेइंग फीचर टू ऐड दिस. ओके, दैट्स अ गुड प्रोजेक्ट, बिल्ड इट, यू विल लर्न समथिंग गुड. ओके, बाय बाय, हैव अ गुड नाइट, विल सी यू ऑल इन द नेक्स्ट स्ट्रीम. Do you have a CN course? Pura nahi yaar, I'd added the 2-hour summary of the course on YouTube. You can watch that. I'm not that big of a core CS का like teacher, but I think OS का course तुम अगर मेरे YouTube पे देखोगे तो I think it's one of very clarity based course. If you cover that videos of OS that I've uploaded on YouTube, उससे तुम्हारी clarity next level तो हो जाएगी. ठीक है, चलो, that would be all. We'll see again in the next session. Bye bye everyone, and have a great time ahead.